You guys hear me okay? You look good, dude. You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? As we get on the music, as Devin just mentioned, my name is Dylan Warter. I'm a former detective of the New Orleans SWAT team. This is my business partner and best friend, Joseph J. Michael, who's also a former police officer. And we have been building businesses for the last 3-4 years. We've had a wild ride, a wild journey with a lot of ups, downs. We've seen the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, a lot of pivots, a lot of experiences. And throughout the entire journey so far, there has been one principle that has stayed true and been consistent that has truly allowed us to live a extremely fun, adventurous, profitable, and growth-oriented career as an entrepreneur that we would really like to share with you.
Yeah, so pretty much you guys have an amazing lineup of speakers today, which is going to be absolutely incredible. They're going to provide so much freaking value. But what we want to do here really is just set the tone for the day, okay? And for some of you guys, really embodying the conversation we're about to have, it might set the tone for the rest of your life like it has myself and Dylan. And so what we're going to be talking about is the power of one. Okay, now Arizona entrepreneurs, where's Devin at? There he is. It's built on the foundation of one connection away. Like, who here believes that you're one connection away, yes or yes? Yes? Awesome. And so many times as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we get so caught up in the marketing, the sales, the numbers, the metrics, that we forget that people are the real fucking currency. Like, people are the currency. People have everything that you want. Like, the knowledge, the skills, the money, the friendships, right? And so with that in mind, the question is, are we being intentional about it? It's like, are we being intentional about the people that we are meeting, the relationships that we are creating, which is, again, a major thing that Arizona Entrepreneurs is built upon. And so with that in mind, when it comes down to connecting with other individuals, meeting the people in your life that shake your world up, right? We're going to tell a little bit of a story about that, but people that change the course of your entire life. Okay, when it comes down to that, those people come in through seemingly insignificant events. Okay, you're quite literally, and I'm not even joking, we're gonna tell you some stories, one conversation, okay, one message, one event like the one that you're sitting at right now, one program that you invest in, one hire, you're one of anything away from changing everything. And it's the absolute truth. And so it's happened to us so many times, and that's why we've been able to see these magical, ridiculous, synchronistic, just insane stories of connecting with people who put us way closer to our vision and change the entire course of our life. And so with that in mind, how can we actually tap more into the power of one, tap into the magic, really, right? And so one of the things that we embody is, number one, is seek and you shall find, okay? We are always looking for the power of one in our life, every day, every week, every month. It's like, where is it? Okay, seek and you shall find. And our brains are pretty much designed to help filter and what you're looking for. Right? And so seeking and you shall find is number one of the things that we embody when it comes down to the power of one and finding the right people, okay? Number two is putting yourself in a position for the golden nuggets to appear. Okay, so everybody in this room right now, you just put yourself in a position to receive the power of one. Okay, that conversation you have, that perspective shift, one of the speakers that are talking today, that something just clicks. You've positioned yourself for the power of one. So the more consistently you position yourself, put yourself in these scenarios where it can manifest in your experience, the more you're gonna experience it, okay? And then number three, before we dive in a little bit of storytelling here, is high intention, no attachment. Okay, and this doesn't just go for like the power of one, this goes for sales too. You know, we have every intention all the time, right? This is an ingrained belief in us that I have every intention to find the one today, tomorrow, next week, but I literally don't care if it happens. Okay, same thing with sales, right? You're on a sales call. It's like, I have every intention to sell this prospect, but I literally, at the same time, do not care if you buy, right? It's a paradox, but it works simultaneously together. And so, with that being said, I kind of want to transition over to Dylan to tell a story or two just to tee up the day and help you guys be a little bit more intentional about the people that you're coming across, the conversations you're having, because they've led to, it honestly sounds fake. It's just like the most ridiculous stories. So I'm going to pass it over to Dylan to just tell a quick story.
So I'll give you a perfect example of the power of one. Us. 3 years ago, Joseph here was working the streets of New York as a police officer by day and building a six-figure network marketing business by night. I, on the other hand, had never heard of network marketing. I didn't even know it existed. I was a detective on the SWAT team in New Orleans, waking up at 3 a.m. pretty much every morning, dressing in all black, jumping out of an armored vehicle, running through backyards, jumping fences to get to the backyard of a cold-blooded killer's house while my team would hit the front door, and I'd be on the backside of the house waiting for a cold-blooded killer to come out of the house or window, whatever, with a gun. And once we would secure that subject and execute the high-risk warrant, I'd go back to the SWAT compound for a debrief, and then I would dress up like a crackhead or a construction worker named Zach who drove a white Ford F-150 pickup truck and would go do undercover work and follow around hitmen, serial killers, and armed robbery subjects, gang members, and so on all day long. And at that point, 3 years ago, Joseph and I had no idea that each other existed. We had no idea. And was it December 2018, my cover was blown, and I had a really close call, and a hit was put out on me. And this was on the back end of a 1.5-year grieving process of my partner being murdered. He was shot and killed covering my shift, the only day I had taken off all year, October 13th, 2017. His name was Marcus McNeil. And there was a huge internal battle with guilt and self-destruction that really just piled up. All these traumatic events piled up where it finally, well, in the prime of my career, I had to walk away from my job with no plan. I had no fucking idea what I was going to do with my life because that was it. For me, I was going to be on the SWAT team for 25 years, and there was no other plan. So I leave the job, and 1 month later, I'm watching my first online webinar, and at the end of the online webinar, I take out my credit card, and I purchase a membership, $99, to a community of entrepreneurs, very similar to this. Yeah, it wasn't this one. And that community, that platform, led me to a training video being taught by Joseph J. Michael. And I immediately got on Instagram, found him on Instagram, saw that he was a police officer as well, so I immediately found common ground to start a conversation, and slid into his DMs, cold message, introduced myself, and honestly, it was probably like super cringy, like if we were to read it today, and also potentially very bro-y. And 2 weeks later, I booked a one-way flight to London to an entrepreneurial event, very similar to this, where he was speaking on stage, very similar to this, and got to see him speak on stage, meet him in person for the first time, and later that night, we went out for some drinks, hit it off. Kind of sounds like a date, but we had a good time. We knew we're gonna be boys. We're gonna be boys. So just spent 2 months backpacking through Europe right after that, and when I returned to the States, I immediately made the decision. I'm driving 8 hours from Buffalo, New York, all the way to Long Island to spend a week hanging out with him, just masterminding, working, and just nurturing that relationship. And understand, remember, this is all from one message so far, right? For the next 6 months, we traveled the world building our businesses together and holding entrepreneurial events like this. We flew to San Diego, France, Hawaii, back to London again, and then eventually Barcelona, where we spent 3 months in Barcelona building our businesses. And we may or may not have drinking a lot of red wine, not a small amount at least, and had an incredible time, gained a lot of experience, and once the 90 days were up, our visa was up, we got kicked out, had to go back to the States, so we landed in New York, and spent Christmas there with his family, and then we packed up the truck and spent 3 days driving across country to move to Scottsdale, Arizona, where within 48 hours, within 2 days, we were immediately plugged into an incredible network of entrepreneurs that were very like-minded, and that was the beginning of a wild, wild growth and business experience over the last 2 years.
Yeah, and so it's crazy to think about because literally one message, one cold message to a stranger. So he positioned himself, right, to tap into the power of one, essentially, right? He positioned himself, and that's the only reason, ultimately, that was a starting off point for a series of events to unfold that landed us right now on the stage talking to you in the present moment. Like, that's insane, and that is all around you all the time. It's just, are you paying attention to it? Like, are you looking for it? Are you seeking it? And so, to take it back, so how do we get to Scottsdale? Why do we land here? How do we get plugged into a network?
More evidence.
More evidence, right, of the power of one. Essentially, similar story. I was in Thailand at the time, traveling a bunch, and I came across some guys online. Like, these guys are awesome. I need to work with them. I want to be in their circle. I want to just get the rub, really, and learn from them. And so I ended up purchasing their event ticket. I became part of their community, purchased an event ticket to their VIP event, which I went by myself. This is before Barcelona. And I landed, and the event was thrown in the apartment complex that I live right now, which is just insane, but 2 years ago, 2 years before this. And so at that event, again, one event, right, where I made a decision, and that's where I decided I'm moving to Scottsdale, right? I'm moving to Scottsdale. I know we need to be here. Like, people, obviously the people are just absolutely incredible from what I hear. It's got to happen. And then that 2 years later, when we're thinking about where do we want to go, like what do we want to do next?
To leave Barcelona.
To leave Barcelona, we're 5 of us. I pitched the boys. I'm like, we got to go to Scottsdale, boys. Like, come on. We have to go. There's people there. The people that we need to meet are in Scottsdale. And so that was the second really part that looped the whole thing together.
Real quick, I'm going to get, before we go into the next part, I'm going to give you how he actually pitched us, which was, fellas, Scottsdale's an entrepreneurial hub. There's beautiful women everywhere, okay? And it's always sunny, right? Clearly, he didn't lie because we have entrepreneurs all over the place, right? We have 2 beautiful, incredible girlfriends right here to support us in the front row, and it's not bad outside right now, you know? So clearly, he didn't lie about that. Now, we had one huge moment, right? A message that transpired a wild series of events, as well as one ad and one event that he went to. And I know what you're thinking, but wait, there's more. Right? And there is. We had another message that this dude received. I don't know what he's doing, like where he's attracting dudes into his DMs the way he is. But another dude slides in his DMs. It wasn't me this time. And the guy's name, some of you may know him, is Braxton Kilgo. Strapping young gentleman. Couldn't be here today. But he was moving from Texas to Scottsdale and was driving a Penske truck through New Mexico, scrolling on his phone as he shouldn't have, and came across Joey on Instagram and immediately hit him up. He's like, hey, bro, I'm heading to moving to Scottsdale right now, and you guys look like you guys got a solid crew. You guys look like you're making moves. I'd love to connect. So we did exactly what I did. And sure enough, like, cool, when you get into town, hit us up. We meet him at Shmoo's Coffee, which I'm sure some of you probably have been there before. And immediately, same as Joey and I, like we just knew, he's going to be one of the boys. All right? Very quickly, we became very close friends, like brothers. And we have been nurturing that friendship, that relationship for the last year and a half to the point where now we have become business partners and are going to be launching a new company later this year that is going to make a massive, massive impact on the entire planet, no doubt. And thank you. And what's really cool is that now that you guys are plugged into our world, you're going to have the opportunity to watch everything that's going to unfold and know that it all came from one message.
One message. Yeah, and so it's our belief that is because we truly believe in the power of one, like deeply, right? And it finds us everywhere. Like the fact that we're sitting on the stage, all these crazy, ridiculous events, like it comes from a deep-rooted belief in the power of one, and it can absolutely change your life, especially at this event. Like you're in a great position to tap into that, to meet the person, meet whoever it is for you, right? A hire, a friend, your next business partner, your next client, right? It's all around you if you're paying fucking attention, right? You're in the present moment. You're paying attention, tapping into this. And so that's one of the biggest things that we want to really do with just this story is kind of just set the tone for the day and transfer the belief of the power of one through a little bit of storytelling and exactly how it's just impacted our life and just created magical experiences.
So please, for the rest of today and every day moving forward, keep seeking, stay open, because you truly are only one connection away. Thank you. You want us to leave these on stage? Both of these?